I'm Mia, and I'm an indie-based artist. I released a 5-song EP called Infinite Euphoria. I started doing music when I was like 15, and I was playing ukulele first, and then from there I kind of like went on to do guitar and bass, drums, a little bit of piano, but predominantly I'm a singer. I think what got me started was I went on this cruise ship with my family. We were going to Alaska, and I met these like group of kids, and I was like 14, 15. And we just ended up playing music a whole bunch, and that was kind of the first time that I was like comfortable with singing in front of people, because beforehand I was kind of like nervous or embarrassed. I thought that maybe my voice was bad. I kind of just had to get past that point of realizing that I wasn't shit, and then I was like, okay, I can start making music now. This is good. This feels good.
All of this waiting is making me crazy. So do what you want, do what you want, and leave me for.
Getting the album recorded was difficult at the beginning. Me, Austin, Daniel, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to sound like, and that was hard at first because you could go into so many different directions of music, and it was very open because this is like the first sort of album that I am releasing as, you know, the alias of Mia, and so it was hard to figure out what we wanted to sound like at the beginning. But once we started kind of laying down little skeletons of each song, and we just kind of started to finish the ends of each of the songs, it came very naturally. It just like rolled out like a carpet, you know.
You're gonna see this through. You're gonna be brand new. Wait until then. Just keep on doing it.
There's a lot of different processes through like all the different songs, especially with the record that I had made recently. You know, one of the songs is called Alias, and at the beginning it says like, when you find yourself alone in a state of regret, but originally the lyrics were when you find yourself alone in a Chinese restaurant. But that was because I was like traveling alone in London, and I was at a Chinese restaurant, and I just had this instinctual harmony in my head, and so I just kind of opened up my iPhone and I recorded it. And so when I came back to the States, I got with Austin, and I was like, hey, I have this melody, let's roll with it. I collaborated with my friend Daniel Puente and Austin Jimison, and they're very, very talented musicians. I realized I just need an extra element to the music that I wanted to create. And so, you know, I went on Facebook and I was like, does anybody know of any producers or any songwriters that are willing to work on a project with me? You know, I'm willing to pay. And so they both messaged me and they were like, we'd love to help you. And we just talked for hours about different influences of mine and what I wanted my music to sound like. And then after that, the rest was really history. We just got together every week, you know, for a whole year and just made the album together. Coming into this new album, I really wanted it to be something that I loved, like, you know, all the way through and through. So writing a lot of it, actually, Gia was written when I was living in Paris for a couple months, because I was dating this French guy, and we ended up making this song together, and it was kind of like a breakup song before we even broke up. So that was really poetic in itself. I didn't even realize, but that's what it was. And so that was a really fun and emotional song that when I play it back and when I finally finished it, it was very like beautiful. When I was first starting to listen to music, and I wasn't really making music or writing music or understanding what went on behind the scenes. I could just kind of sit there and like listen to a whole album and be like, this is great. But when I started actually making music and having to record things and putting like little tiny nitpicky things onto the tracks, I started listening to other music and kind of being like, I started dissecting it to an amount where it was a little annoying sometimes. I was like, oh, I know what they did there, or oh, maybe he should have done this, you know, a different way. So it's definitely changed the way that I see music now. Like it wasn't so simple as it was back then. With Late July, which is actually the one that everyone's kind of loving the most right now, that was made so fast and so organically because Austin came to me with this kind of guitar riff and I was like, what is that? Is that original? Because it sounded like something I've heard before. And so he laid down like a little instrumental track and then I took it home with me and I pretty much just wrote all the lyrics that night. Like it literally just like folded out of me. There's so many other people trying to do this, and for you to actually become where you need to be, work really fucking hard because yeah, there's no sleep, no days off, literally just work. But yeah, I'm Mia. I just released Infinite Euphoria. It's a 5-song EP and there's a link right here if you want to go check it out.